Number 2 just gives us a problem and says, hey, solve it. So we want to solve this inequality. Don't be scared at first. It looks like it might be kind of hard. There's a lot of numbers, stuff on both sides here. But that's all right. We're going to have our buddy come in here. Homeboy here is just gonna clean up a little bit, right? So it's just a little messy. So all we have to do is just clean it up, and then we'll see that it's actually not too bad. First thing we do to kind of clean things up is that we want to eliminate parentheses. So if you see any parentheses, we want to get rid of those parentheses, and we do that by distributing. Distributing is just another word for multiplication. So I'm going to take this 6. I would encourage you to circle it, and I draw arrows to both things that I'm multiplying so that I remember not just to multiply the first, but then I remember to multiply both of them. So if I multiply both of those things, I get 12z plus 30 less than or equal to negative 18 minus 4z. All right. Next thing I want to do is that I want to see if I can combine any like terms. So if I look to combine like terms, now you might be thinking, oh, well, here's a 12z and a negative 4z. Wouldn't that be 8z? Well, the problem is that those z's are on different sides. So we can only combine things. When we say combine like terms, what we're saying is they have to be on the same side. If they're not on the same side, then we cannot combine them. We'll look at a second how we would do that. So let's erase that. Now, when I say same side, you're like, well, same side of what? Well, when we're talking about same side, what we mean is that of the equal sign, or in this case, of the inequality symbol. So if you have a tendency to kind of forget that, it may not be a bad idea to kind of draw a wall between the two sides so that you have a visual of, okay, this is the left side, that's the right side. So what I want to do is that I want to move the variables. Now that I see that there's not like terms on the same side, right, because a 30 is a number, 12z is a variable, so I can't combine those things. Now that I see that I've got variables that I want to get them all on the same side. So I've got 12z over here and negative 4z over there. So what I want to do is I want to move the negative 4z, and actually it doesn't matter. You can move 12z to negative 4. I kind of have a habit of, at the very end, our answer is going to be something like z and then the number. So we usually write the variable on the left. So for me personally, I like to move everything over to the left. So how we move stuff is we do the opposite. So the opposite of a minus 4z would be a plus 4z. And then what we do to one side, we do to the other, right? So we're going to add 16z, or add 12z and 4z to get 16z. And then plus 30 less than or equal to negative 18. Now that I've moved the variables to the same side, I'm trying to get the variable by itself, which means I've got to get rid of the numbers that are next to it. So now I've decided to move my variables to the left, and the numbers by itself I'm going to move over to the right. So I'm going to subtract 30 from both sides. So let's do a minus 30. And then I get 16z less than or equal to. Same signs, add and keep. So I've got 18 negatives and 30 more negatives. That means I've got a total of 48 negatives. This says 16 times what would give me a negative 48. That says 16 times z. So the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 16. And then I get z is less than or equal to. How many times does 16 go into 48? Well, if I did 16 plus 16, that's 32. And then so if I added another 16 to that, that's 48, right? So ends up going 3 times. The signs are different, so we'd have z less than or equal to negative 3. Now you might be wondering, hey, isn't there something about switching the inequality symbol? Remember, we only switch when you multiply or divide by a negative. So you see we divided by a positive 16 right here. So don't switch, and we'll see one in a minute where you do switch. But don't switch because, pen's acting crazy here. Don't switch because, that's shorthand for, the b/c is just shorthand for because. Don't switch because we didn't divide by a negative. So we're not going to switch because we didn't divide by a negative. We'll look at one in a moment where we are going to switch it, but here, no switch. All right, so see, and now it's all cleaned up. Now our little sweeper guy's happy, right? So we just had to sweep all this stuff, had to just clean, and now we come down to an answer, z less than or equal to -3. All right, go ahead and try number 2 on the right before you stop the video, just so that you can check your answer. I do want to give you the answer to the next one. So the answer to this one right here that you're going to do next, oddly enough, you should also get z less than or equal to -3. Just a coincidence, not done on purpose, but yeah, it actually ends up being the same answer. All right, so go ahead and stop the video now and try number 2.